Hello, and welcome to another Albion EU video. And this time, a viewer asked me to do some ratting in corrupted dungeons, and I was like, I'm not really a fan of it because I hate it when people do it to me. But I thought it'd be like an interesting challenge to see how hard is it to actually rat in corrupted dungeons. And I think personally, it's extremely easy because, I mean, most of the meta builds, for example, they don't have that kind of crazy mobility. It's all like most people just have sprint on their boots, and that's all like the most of their mobility. Maybe like a jump or two on their abilities. Now, obviously, like if somebody has insane like mobility, like I don't know, Frost with their blink every like 10 seconds, or with like a sprint, and with like an omelet that reduces their cooldowns, maybe they'll catch up to you. But I'm using a dual swords with just Wonderless, and nobody was able to catch me. So yeah, I think it's extremely easy. All you have to do is like just pay attention to the mini map, and like you can tell where people are based on where the mobs are moving. So if you see a bunch of red dots moving, you gotta make sure it's not a patrol because they will move on like patrols. But if you see something getting pulled and then like leashing back to where it was, then you can tell where the enemy is. And with that information, you can kind of like play around and just go for the crystals that are like away from your opponent, or like closer to you and all that. Yeah, this is a bunch of ways to finesse it. But if you just pay attention where your enemy is. If he's on your screen, you just go the other way. The one thing I could see that's stopping you, probably potentially, is if there's like the dagger mobs. I don't know what that is, but the ones with the daggers will slow you. Also, the bats, when they hit you, they'll also slow you. And then there's one more, one of the more of the big boys that jumps, that has that like a big AOE howl that also slows you. Like I can see those mobs like slowing you down and letting your opponent catch up to you potentially. But that's why, as for builds, like you can pretty much go in with whatever you have or whatever you want, as long as you have a sprint. And then if you really want to try and like maximize your survival chances, you take Assassin's Jacket, so that when someone's like trying to sprint up to you, you can just Assassin Jacket, wait out their sprint, and then you can just like sprint away. And yeah, man, there it's obviously everything is very nuanced because it really depends on the situation. But if you know like decently how to play, it's really easy to do it. So here, I'm just gonna go quickly through two little corrupted dungeons. Oh yeah, and by the way, don't do what I did. Don't activate the shrine at the beginning, because that will allow you to invade other players, and that's not what you want if you're ratting. I only did it as an example to show you guys, like, if you were the one attacking, you could easily break all the crystals as well. Also, another thing you could do is, for suggestions for food and all that, I would recommend bringing poison pots. Not to use against your enemy, but poison pots for either destroying crystals or destroying the boss. Because one thing that you need to keep in mind if you're ratting is that you have to, if you break all the crystals, you have to kill the boss if you want to get out faster. You can also just wait like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or whatever it is to channel and get out. But I think it's I don't know, it's ridiculously long, and it's not really worth doing. So if you're gonna rat, you're gonna need something that to help you kill those bosses. So poison pots, yeah, the any food that increases your health regen, like fish or the soups, are a good choice there. Like also, it helps you when you're running away from enemies, because obviously there's a good chance you're gonna get hit by mobs. So like getting your health, like getting increased health regen will help you when you're going between mob packs, and getting your health back to full in case if an opponent's chasing you. And the thing is, there's so much things I want to show off. Like, let's say I wanted to play a build like for example, like a crossbow, or not crossbow, bolt casters, for example, where it has basically no mobility unless you use a little that trap that steals some of your opponent's speed or whatever. But like, I wanted to show off a build that has absolutely no mobility but can still escape as long as you have a sprint. it's pretty easy. But also, maybe I should have said this at the beginning. I don't think ratting is like I said, I don't like ratting, and I think if you do it, like, I don't know why you would do this in corrupted dungeons. Why not just go to like a random solo open world dungeon that you just wait 90 seconds and the gate closes behind you, and it's basically the same thing. You just kill mobs, you get your chest, and then voila, you get randomized loot. Ratting in corrupted dungeons is really, I don't know, I know it's a mechanic they built in the game, but I think it's kind of shitty. Giving people a way to like just skip on fights, and whoever is like going in there for PvP like I usually do, it's kind of annoying because you're like, well, I just wasted like 5 minutes or 7 minutes of my time trying to get some PvP, and someone just rats me, you know. It's really annoying. So, yeah. Do it if you want to, because I mean, Albion, the devs put that in there for a reason, so that's on them. So yeah, in my opinion, I think ratting in the corrupted dungeons isn't really worth it. I think the only reason you'd ever want to break crystals is if you're fighting a build that counters you, like, I don't know, like a frost. Usually frost, when you see a frost player, you kind of just want to like say nope and go break all the crystals instead of fighting them, because it's really annoying to deal with them, especially when you're the one that has to chase after them. That gives them so much more of an advantage. So sometimes, you know, based on your opponent, you want to break crystals, but other than that, ratting, I don't think it's worth it, because you have to kill a bunch of mobs in order to, you know, get the boss up and kill the boss if you want to go into another dungeon, which I think is just a massive waste of time. But that's on you guys. You know, someone asked for it, so here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't rat.